Hello, person who had this video start auto-playing. I hope you're doing well. I just felt like being productive before I start having to get screwed over by homework. Because, I actually go to school in person tomorrow, and I got quite a lot of homework to do, so that'll be fun. It's only gonna ramp up from here, so it's gonna be kinda yucky. But before all that, before I get burnout, I'm gonna do a little bit of coding so I can, get some work done. So, what I was planning to do is that we really need poll reruns. Those are very important because right now, the bot is only told to a new hour. No, it's actually a little bit up. Hour equals 0. Use backup. Is it this? Yeah, I think it's literally just this. This is the only code we have for a backup. So, what it does is that it takes a free response question and sends that instead. But that isn't the point of the bot. So if I were to miss a poll, I'd rather have it send a poll that's already been sent before, but a long time ago, than just send a question that isn't pulled or tallied. Which will help because I just noticed something. Wow, I'm kind of dumb. Hold on. So, go over to Discord. This is my Discord server. I've had this stats channel open, but I never enabled people to see it. I really never have. I could have sworn I did. There we go. Now it's viewable. Hello, my favorite viewer. Apparently that channel was never viewable, but yeah, the bot has stats that update every 10 minutes. So, yeah, it's a blunder on my part. I think I made it hidden at some point because I was working on it, but then I never made it unhidden, so yeah. But here's the stats. We have 1,100 votes right now. Highest vote is 2,500, and we have 588 polls since the bot started. So, what we need to do is we need to figure out which of those polls are reusable. Because some of the polls are holiday specific and everything, and we don't even want to bother trying to reuse those. So, we need to go through them and try to figure out how many are reusable and how many aren't. And then specify it within the bot data, because the bot does have the entirety of the poll queue saved in, history backup. So we're gonna have to write some code to do that. So I was thinking, because we're not gonna be directly interfacing with the bot right now, we might as well just do it in JS Fiddle, because why not? So if I pull up the web browser and I set the source like this, we have good old JS Fiddle. Let polls equal, and I think, yeah, I copy pasted all of it. So this is 200,000 characters right here. Kind of gave up halfway, which is fair enough. There's 588 polls. But this is the entire poll queue. This is the entire history. It started with "Is water wet?" It got 7 votes. 4 people said it was wet. 3 people said it wasn't. The most recent vote actually got, I don't know, where was that? Is water wet? Yes, no. 1,300 people said yes. 964 said no. So it's pretty interesting single molecule of water is not wet? Yeah, but water as a whole, I'd say, is wet. And water can saturate into, well, I don't know. That's for the argument within the servers. I just make the polls. I do not argue them. But we need to go through this and, like, sort through all of it. Single molecule, yeah, I think I would agree with that. But overall, I think it is wet. Just in general. So what I wanted to do, though, is let I equal 0. I is less than polls.length. I plus plus. Oh god, it lags like hell because there's 200,000 characters right here. What I wanted to do first was I just wanted to get through all the... Or I wanted to label all the polls so it's easy to read and we don't have to look through this. I just wanted to add a little something like the number and then append the polls I dot question. Something like that. And then run it. So that gives us all 588 polls in a much nicer format, I would argue. So, wow, this is a lot. How do I expand this? Can I expand it more? Not really. Well, we need to go through all of this. We have to go through 588 of them and decide which ones are not reusable. So we have to start making an array, because eventually what I want to do is I want to take what we found and I want to directly edit the database with our new findings. So let non-reusable polls or positions equal array. So, to start off, is water wet? I'm gonna put that in there because we just reused that. When you're able to sleep in, pineapple, watch streams, favorite genre, how many servers. Yeah, so it's a lot of reading and just figuring out which ones are holiday only. Valentine's Day is a holiday only one. This might not actually be a great streaming thing to watch. You still watch TV? What should a tomato be classified as? I mean... Oh, there's 14. Do you own your own Discord server? I just reran that one. So I wanted to make the most reusable ones pretty good. The music is also really dope. Most of it's lo-fi Leah if you ever need something to listen to. I got that dope playlist. And it's all equalized too now, so it all sounds the same volume. Pretty awesome. But yeah, we just have to look through all of these. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Virtual reality? And just kind of make sure you could live anywhere. Where will you live? Did we do that one? I could have sworn we did this one recently, but I think it was a bit less specific. Let's just add that one to it, just in case. Because I just want to make sure we're not reusing polls over and over again. Because that would be really bad. Because we got like things like iPhone or Android. We got... People suggest a lot of things that have already been done. Like pineapple on pizza, holy crap. That one's suggested so goddamn often. And no one realizes that it was already sent out. That was actually one of the first polls, I believe. Yeah. Poll number 3. So, you have to look through all these. God, there's so many though. 588. Arguments that you can classify any food into a salad, soup, sandwich, and a ravioli. I've never heard of that. No. Though, it sounds like it has some weight to it. Like a calzone might be a ravioli or something. I don't know. Yeah, how often do you listen to music? If you could go anywhere, would you move away from where you live now? 30 is also... It's odd, because I guess it's just kind of the same as if you could live anywhere, where would you live? About the same. Ice tolerance, that's a good one. There's some really good banger polls in the beginning, but we just can't reuse them because they're supposed to be unique. But we're going to implement a system so I could specify if a poll isn't unique or is not reusable. Spaghetti can be a salad, cereals, a soup, hot dogs or sandwiches, and Pop-Tarts or ravioli. Wow. That's kind of terrifying. It's very strange, though. I don't know. People who argue these things pretty... That's why I just create the polls. I do argue them, but I don't do much more than that. I argue them in that place. If you don't know what I'm talking about. Or, well, obviously you do. You're in that place, but... it's one of those named servers that's like, oh, what place? Oh, that place. What? No, just tell me which place it is. Oh, it's that place. Oh my god. It's a very confusing name. How many digits of pi do you correctly remember? That's a pi date. Like, you wouldn't want to randomly ask this. Well, I mean, you could. Nah, that's a pretty dumb one, though. Like, no one would want to answer that, really. What's your preference of sound while sleeping? Nickname in the server. Reasoning for your YouTube live. Should a hashtag general Discord channel allow images? Oh, these are really good ones. This is why we want to reuse them, because, God, I want to see what 2,000 people think of this. But yeah, pairs of shoes, blah, 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 all that's good. Red or blue. Degree of competitiveness. In a 2-story building. We did a 100-story building once, too. Best color in a rainbow. This one's also suggested kind of often, too. Time travel in one direction. 51 is an April Fool's Day one, so we're gonna blank that out so it doesn't get used. Your parents are you most similar to? God, they're so good. Or after breakfast. You think there's evidence? Blah, blah, blah. How much thought went to your username? Oh, it's kind of a trip going through these two, because, God, I remember making the bot and it's just being like 20, 50 people voting on it. Now it's 2,500 on a good day, though. But we're almost at 1,000 setup servers. That's kind of exciting. And then once we get 2,000 total servers, then we get sharding, and that'll make everything probably quicker, because shards typically have 1,000 servers in them. 1,000 each, not setup servers, but 1,000 each. So that'll be like 500 setup servers in each. So that's quicker for both of them. So that might be good too. What would you rather receive on Valentine's Day? That one's kind of specific. Owned a pet fish. DM people. Skydiving. Would you ever want to try skydiving? Oh, this one kind of broke, I guess. But let's check on that. So, would you ever want to try skydiving? That pops up twice for some reason. Yeah, one of them results 0, 0. So this one is a broken poll. Because there's some times where the bot broke and it just left the poll in there. If I were to remove it now, it would not really break too much as long as I update the number, but free response questions are attached to what poll it is. I should probably attach it to the date, if we're being honest, but maybe I'll write that down too. Let's write that down. Write that down. Attach free response to date, so I can delete. Might as well show my Discord. So I could delete earlier polls. Something like that. Back to web browser. So 56 and 50. Which one was it? Valentine's Day. 59. Yeah. So we don't want repeats either, because it might be that we're gonna go in order up the thing, so the longest, the farthest away polls get sent first. So that's why we want to get rid of basically any repetition or all-day specific stuff. God, this music's a vibe. I love the Pokemon music. I need to add more to this playlist. There is a lot more I could add to this playlist, but it's already 110 songs long. And if you ever want the link to it, it is an unlisted playlist. I could send it over if you ever want. But skydiving, it's 59, but we're gonna keep 62. Pet fish, feeling wise, current phone, stocks. Seems all good so far. Yeah, so we just have 500 more to go. Out of these, what volume is your computer device usually at? Which mention of a awareness trigger works on you the most? Oh, that one was a good one. What form of protection does the phone have? You also get to see trends in here as well, because you see that I asked quite a few phone questions in this little section, because I get the idea. So there's always trends that you can see. Video games. You actually hydrate / change posture when reminded online. Oh, these are so good. How many friends do you prefer hanging out with at a time? Emulate games. That's more of a gamer thing. I don't want to reuse ones that everyone can't answer. And people might not know what emulation is, so I'm gonna cut that one out. That was actually 89, not 86. That would be bad. Or wait, it is 86 and 89. Oh, what the hell? Okay, I guess we're adding both. Alright. This is Deltarune. What was your favorite season? Have you ever pirated something online? Maybe, well, let's keep it there. I remember when I sent this one out, people were like, oh, okay, FBI. That was pretty good. 93 was a response to Discord's color rebanding. Mario Luigi. Yeah. Okay. On any given day. God, these seem like so... It doesn't seem like these were that far away. How well do you know your neighbors? But these were literally almost 2 years ago. Because there's a day between each one of these questions. Ambient's good. Feel like you have the most energy. Did you ever use the Everybody Votes channel on the Wii? Let's leave that one out just because it might be a little too hard to answer. Be like, what the hell? Picking clock. What option do you think will have the least amount of votes? There's that one. How do you prefer your... Okay. Let me go through all these. I don't have to read them all. I just need to look over them and get the gist so I can determine which ones are not actually... What is the superior heating method? I think that one was like toaster oven or microwave or something. There's some strange ones in here, but they're good. Because imagine going through all these. We already have more than 100 unique polls that we can resend. And that would save so much time for me, because holy crap, making a daily poll is freaking awful. Not awful, but it's like, oh my god. Like right now, we don't have a poll for tomorrow. I'm usually working on like a couple hours beforehand. The is water wet one, I literally submitted 1 minute before the poll was going to send out. That was kind of wild because I forgot. That was so stressful. Attic or a basement? Storage or battery? Gosh, good. Online school. Favorite instrument type. Okay, let's start going through these real quickly again. Ranch goes well with pizza? It does, by the way. You should try it. How much do you like Discord's new banners and About Me options? That one was in response to Discord adding those. So, we're going to add that there. Use Discord's folders. Dipping sauce. Have you gone anything from the Steam Summer Sale? That's another one that was going on. First person or third person gameplay more? That one's a little oddly specific to gaming. Some people aren't gamers that vote on things, so I don't want to include those. Are you COVID vaccinated? Maybe leave that one out. That was a fair poll, though, I'd say. Out of these, which is the best sport? Would you rather do? Okay. Going through these quick again. Becoming a moderator for something online, would you do it? Are foreign shows usually better dubbed or subbed? Oof. Friend request. Okay. Oh, this one, 156, we're gonna have to cut out. I don't know why this is redo. I think maybe I removed it. Because there has been, you can see where there was hiccups in the poll process, but we can, or at least once we switch out free response questions to hook up to the date, then we can do a little removing and editing of polls. I mean, we could already edit polls. That's what we're gonna end up doing because of this. But that's kind of the plan. So, cookies and milk. Would you start live streaming as a hobby? Okay. What's your favorite Valve series? That one's a little specific. That one. Yeah, since I've grown the bot too, I've kind of been more aware of what, not everyone's a gamer, so I don't want to resend gaming polls that much. They have to be very generalized if I want to include them. Yeah, stuff like that. What's your favorite number? This is a long one. Oh yeah, this one's the one that has 10 different options, 1 through or 0 through 9. Roller coasters. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these are reusable, which is really nice. Okay. When do you consider a meme dead? What's the better plain donut? I don't even know what this one was about. Plain donut. Okay, so remember people's names. All these are looking pretty good. And you know, avocado. Yeah. A lot of these are pretty reusable. You enjoy rain. The best day of your week. Opinion on idle games. That one's a little specific. Get rid of that one. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. How would you grade your PC? Actually, let's double check. I want to make sure it actually is giving proper options to say, oh, I don't have a PC. Yeah, an X. Don't have one. Okay. Just wanted to double check that that exists. Because 65 people during that one, which is a very big amount, don't have a PC. Some people are purely mobile on Discord. So, gotta look out for those people. Gotta look out for them. All the mobile users out there. Though you should get a PC, honestly. What's your favorite class in video games? Yet another very specific thing. Okay. Back to the pretty good ones. Have you ever tried sensory deprivation tank? I remember they were mentioned in a stream that I was listening to, so that's why I added that one. I was like, would I? I mean, yeah, I would try, but I don't think I'd like it. So I think the poll was about, I would, but I wouldn't like, I don't think I'd like it or whatever. I do have Phasmophobia, yes, I do. I play that in VR. Like, exclusively, because if there's a VR option, you bet your ass I'm gonna use that instead of desktop. I've never played Phasmophobia in desktop. But I haven't played Phasmophobia all that much either. But I would be totally down to like stream like a group. Like I got a voice channel that we can all go into. That'd be pretty cool. They're about to do a big update in 2 days. Ooh, okay. Okay, I'll look out for that. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. Phones, do you prefer Apple or Android? The redo. Warren, I already had that one. Android. Yeah, iPhone or Android. Already did that. Yeah, so that's actually one that slipped by me. I thought, I guess, you know, I guess I can't remember 600 unique polls. But we'll get rid of that one. You enjoy playing retro games? Let's check that one as well. Just a yes or no. Let's not include that one. Because some people don't even play like games all that much. I don't even play games all that much, if we're being honest here. Okay. So that was 214. So, keep going through these. Best chip player. Onion whipped cream. Caps lock. That one's an interesting one. Have you ever needed to use caps lock on a keyboard? Like, even if I am just doing a yelling, I would never caps lock it. I would just hold shift. That one would be an interesting one to see again. Because a lot of these, you know, only had a few hundred votes at this point. Like 223, I think. We're starting to get into territory where it was, let's see. Yeah, only less than 500 votes on polls by this point. So, a lot of people, majority of people have never seen these polls. More than 25%, or sorry, more than like 80% have never seen these polls. Assuming, of course, the same people from earlier, they could probably leave. So, pretty wild. That's why we're rerunning these polls. They're gonna be beautiful. And then I could always make this like available publicly too, which is the plan whenever I get enough resources to run a dynamic web server for that. So I could put all the polls in like a website, and you could just look through it and be like, oh, okay, these people voted for that on that day. Dope. I want to do that so badly, but I kind of need like a bit more Ko-Fi support, because you'd have to pay for a web server, then that's a monthly cost, and I don't even know how to do it yet, so gotta learn. Okay, but we are almost halfway through, so a lot of these we haven't really had to add. We've only added like 15 to exclude. Do you lock the bathroom door when you're home alone? That one's a good one, because a lot of people, like, I don't think they do. That one, I love revisiting these polls. It's so interesting. 206 do just in case. Another 100 only when people are in the house as well. And then 110 never. So that's kind of wild. I really like that one. That one's less like an interesting poll. Like, there's not much to talk about, or there kind of is. You could talk about your reasoning. Some of these are just so good, man. So stare at the window. Would you consider yourself a Pokemon fan? Yeah. You use two-factor authentication, says the hacker. Identify which accounts don't use it and then hack them. Now, do you usually carve pumpkins for October? That one's specific. Even though you could technically send it whenever, it only makes sense if you send it in October, so that's why we're gonna do that. What's the best spooky character? Again, these are a bunch of October ones, so we're gonna have to get rid of a lot of these. Last time you got sick. 236 is another Halloween one. If you like horror movies or games, that one's not specific. Do you like haunted houses? That one is kind of specific. Exercise. What do you think of bat? Well, I'll keep that open, because bats, you know, are just an animal. They're not really Halloween specific, but it does make a little more sense if they're sent there. You get sweaty hands. Yeah. Read things on paper. Are you afraid of the dark? Yeah, okay. 249 is specific to Halloween for costumes. 250 is about October. You use social media. 252 is another one. There's a lot of good October polls, though, that I'd love to reuse. They just have to be manually queued up, that's why. So I'd have to specify not to reuse the poll, but also do all that, so. Don't press the red poll reaction. That one was an interesting one. 254 is another Halloween. 256 is also. Yeah, these were all during the month of October. How'd you join the server and currently? When is too soon for Christmas music? 259. Makes the most sense when it's before Christmas. And then, how was your Halloween? That's the end of the month, you could tell. So, back to a bunch of normal ones. Okay, so daylight savings time. Save that. What's your opinion on cryptocurrency? Maybe exclude that one. That one's kind of a little sketchy there, because it's become a lot more controversial as time's gone on with that one. So a lot of these are a bit old. This one's like a year and a half old, maybe. Or maybe just a year. Yeah, about a year. You follow world news. Yeah, that's all good. Oh, now we're getting into Christmas lights. I remember I made this one because I saw a bunch of Christmas lights at my work already. And it was freaking November, or... yeah, it was November. I'm like, oh my god, really? Already? But yeah, they already pulled those things out. I'll have to see those again pretty soon. Cryptocurrency hurts the environment because it's digital currency being traded into real... well, that's not the reason, but yeah. A lot of cryptocurrencies do that dumb proof of work thing, so you just use a bunch of energy to generate it because you're just calculating things and getting paid for it, essentially. But yeah, not been a good light recently. But how well do you work under pressure? I remember this was one that actually had up on the top.gg screenshots. That was pretty good. What is the best morning bread? That was pretty decent. That one's like a bagel or an English muffin or whatever. Handwriting, that was another one that was screenshotted before the update. Have you ever lied when answering one of these polls? That one's a good one. Because a surprising amount of people have. If you look at this one. Yeah, so still only 500 votes, but it said no, I would never, no, but, and then yes, at least once. 83 people lied at least once. 118 would consider lying. And then 300 would say, no, I would never. Supposedly. Those are always good. Okay. When do potatoes taste good? Actually, I'm kind of curious. What was the results on that one? Or what were the options? Cooked in any way. There's a compliment to something else. Never or almost never. You can feed that. Okay. Can you raise your eyebrow on one eyebrow at a time? I think that was before The Rock did it, but maybe it wasn't. I don't even remember. I think it was. You like Black Friday? That's the specific one. Write that down. Opinion on Christmas music? That's specific. We're starting to get into Christmas territory. Okay. Caramel or caramel? How much does it snow during the season where you live? We'll leave that one out. And then Christmas gifts. Yeah, we're starting to get into a lot of that. Rather. Sushi. Crust of pizza. Yeah, a lot of these are already, like, suggested. Like, some people suggest crust of pizza. A lot of people suggest pineapple. A lot of people suggest, like, color of the rainbow, all that sort of stuff. I could technically make it so... that would actually be kind of interesting. Like, maybe I, like, take all the words out of their poll suggestion, and then I compare it to all the polls that have been sent out. And then it could be like, oh, it might be similar to this. Are you sure you still want to suggest it? Because the pineapple one gets suggested a lot. So maybe like if 2 or 3 words match that aren't generic, like it, I, do, what, stuff like that. That might be a good feature to get rid of, duplicates. But still, we don't get that many suggestions anyways. Maybe like a couple a day sometimes. So not too big of a deal, but that might be an interesting one to look into. More than halfway, by the way. We only have 250 to go. Okay. Start going through these again. What do you do most often when it gets cold in your house? Have you used the bot / commands on Discord? That's when it was added recently, so it doesn't make as much more sense now. To enjoy incremental games, that one's a little specific. And yeah, 313's Christmas Eve. Oh, I like this one. Actually, 313, 314, 315, and 316 are all holiday specific, but 316 I really like. You ask in December, do you still have any Halloween candy, by the way? That one's good because some people fucking do, dude. Yes, quite a bit. 73 people. Yes, barely any. So that's 100 people. Whereas, 100 people compared to another 100 that don't have any more. And the rest are just people who never got candy. So, like, 40% of people have candy still in, like, December. Like, holy crap. That one was wild. I'd love to rerun that poll too, but I'm just gonna have to wait and put it in manually so it sends at the right time. But yeah. So, Halloween candy. What's the best overall side? New Year's Eve is specific. New Year's resolution specific. 321's about the year 2022 versus 2021. Okay. Alright. We're going good still. How good are you at lying? I think that was... Oh, that was far after Among Us. Among Us was like 2020, I believe. Late 2020. That didn't really... That was before the bot was made. But that's what I would assume this one would be because of. Okay. So coins. Onions. Public speaking. I could have sworn... That's a repeat, perhaps? Let me double check. Public speaking. I guess not. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to double check because that one... I felt like I already went through, but I guess not. Just make sure. Which gifts do you prefer the most? Let's add that because that's still December, I think. Or is it? Hold on, let's check. Gifts do you prefer the most? Stuff I asked for, stuff I didn't ask for. Ooh, that one's actually pretty good. Let's leave that. Some of these are pretty good. Or a lot of them are pretty good. I really miss the early polls because they were just like so good because it's a new bot. You can make any poll you want and it doesn't really need to be unique because there's not many polls. Newest game console you've gotten doesn't really fit. Okay. Back to looking through it again. When do you usually buy games you're following? Sounds a bit specific too. How difficult do you like video? That one's kind of specific, but it is generalized enough that I would leave it in, I guess. Sure. Okay. Going through these. What's your opinion on Nintendo as a company? I think this is when Silva Gunner, or not, sorry, not Silva Gunner, but Gunner, or sorry, Gilva Sunner, Gilva Sunner got taken down, I believe. But again, I could leave that in. What's the best way to eat chicken wings? Everyone votes is 1 year old. What's your favorite type of poll? That's the one that I did the Would You Rather poll in. Would You Rather got highest vote. Ooh. Type of controller do you prefer? Again, kind of specific. Alright. You watch the Super Bowl. That one, I think, is specific to the Super Bowl, which is in February, so you can kind of tell we're in February now. Valentine's Day, again, February. Driver's license, root beer. Okay. Going back through it. Are you in on the game Wordle? 373. That one was a small craze there. Interested in games like Elden Ring, also specific. Right. Yeah, still, we have like over 350 unique polls so far, and we're only 380 in. I don't even know if this is 30 listed right here. But once we label all of these, then we can make sure whenever it picks a new poll that it doesn't need to, or it'll just skip over any holiday polls. So we never have to worry about it sending at a weird time. Unless it's like a very, like, I don't know, random coincidence, like, oh, what's your opinion on the heat? And there's like forest fire going on or something. Like, something like that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. DIY projects. Is a hot dog and a bun a sandwich? That was one question. I know, Clanning, you brought that up. Cat or dog person? I was kind of surprised. I never actually did cat or dog person until then. Like, I could have sworn I already did that, but I didn't. So I added it for at over a year in. Companies remaking smaller, older games. It's oddly specific. If I were to remake this poll, I would make it say, what's your opinion on companies remaking older, like, media? So, like, movies and stuff. But, Rubik's Cube, Dippin' Sauce. Sure. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day? That one's specific. What do you usually call this reptile? Crocodile or alligator? That one's pretty alright. I was curious what people default to. I usually say alligator. Or no, I usually say crocodile, I believe. What type of restaurant? Do you like modernized logos? Alright. 400 in, only less than 200 to go, so we're already 2/3 of the way there. Do one of those fighting questions. What do you mean, fighting questions? I'm unfamiliar. Does your house have air conditioning? Oh, I wish I... Oh yeah, please rate the server you're in on a 1 to 5 scale. That was on April Fool's. That one's a pretty good one. And then 411, do you enjoy? Okay. It's back to the normal ones. Like 100 tiger-sized spiders or 100 spider-sized tigers. Yeah. People have suggested those, but they're just like... Well, at least the ones people suggested were pretty awful. Like, oh, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? It's like, well, 100 duck-sized horses, obviously. Like, it has been suggested quite a lot, but no one sent like a really good one. So, if you like you DM me any of those ideas, I could credit you in that because no one's ever really sent them. But I could also look into that too. Like look it up online and see what are the actual good ones. Some of them are really obvious. But yeah, that is a decent idea. It is kind of similar to Would You Rather. Okay. If you want to upgrade to Windows 11, 417 is Windows 11 specific. How do you pronounce GIF? That one's pretty new. I didn't realize I never sent this one out somehow. Okay. How many Discord servers do you talk in? Yeah, this is starting to get pretty recent now. I'm starting to remember some of these. Celebrate Easter at all. Now we're in April. Like. Favorite song. Grapefruit. Garlic bread. G like God and if. What? Sorry, what? Having a stroke? Or maybe, well, there is delay. There's of course like a delay. You'll probably notice it better than I can. But like, yeah, sometimes I pass by something that you're talking about and it's like, oh, yeah, how to pronounce GIF? Yeah, G like God and if. I see. Yeah, so that's the delay working there, because I completely forgot I just read that, too. So you're gonna have to call me out on that whenever that happens. But... yeah, I always pronounced it GIF, but then I decided, you know what? I'll switch. It only makes sense if it's GIF, for being honest. Also... the GIF format really sucks, dude. I really wish Discord would just add a PNG, animated PNG support. Because, God, GIFs just suck. Okay. Continuing. Did you notice the last typo in the last poll questions? Oh yeah, I just read it and I didn't notice it. That one's pretty good. I really like that one. Do you like the new car smell? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of it because it's got a typo in it, but that one's pretty good. I liked how I sent that out. Because a lot of people, I don't think, noticed. I didn't notice until it was mentioned, I believe. Yes, I did. No, it slipped by me. I didn't see the last poll. Yeah, 300 said they did. 800 said they didn't. That's pretty good. Okay. Okay, so... almost 100 left. Would you ever buy an extended warranty? How lucky are you? Okay. Best dip for french fries. I did this for nuggets and everything. Now we got french fries here. Got Legend of Zelda playing. Damn. It's actually Cass's theme, apparently. Oh, I guess it does make sense. I didn't actually notice that. in the song, at least. I didn't notice the song kind of transitions between the two. Or if that's added by Lo-Fi Leah, that's pretty freaking smooth. Okay. Still going through. Still good. That's the 100-floor skyscraper one that I mentioned earlier with the 2-story building. We're getting pretty close now. Genetically modified, pretzels, lowest grade. Having a personal blog is outdated. Okay. You are given the choice to take the following superpower. The ability to always hear people's thoughts within 10 feet of them. Okay, that one's also pretty good. Because that's kind of like a would you rather, too. I remember when I sent that one out. Because you would always hear people's thoughts. You would never be able to not hear them within 10 feet. That one's interesting. Yeah, the rest aren't very specific, because by this point, I started realizing, okay, we don't really need very specific pulls. Kind of suck that I have to put all my attention on reading these, though. Typically, I like to talk while I'm streaming these, so it isn't the best of content, but once we get through this, then we can start doing some big boy stuff. Okay. All these are good. How would you rate Discord? Sure. Alright. What part do you enjoy most in video games? This is the one that I have screenshotted on top.gg, actually. That's one of the forefront polls that are kind of sitting there. I believe. Pretty sure. This is when we switched over to the new bot version. Did you join Discord? Do you think aliens exist? I think that's not a repeat. I think that's actually its own thing. Because the only other ones were, is there evidence in our solar system of aliens? And do you think aliens contacted us? But I've never sent, do they exist? So that's why that one's there. And also by this point, I also double check a lot of things because we're 500 unique polls in, and it's like, oh my god, bro. It's a lot. Okay. But if you can't find a data set, you might as well make it yourself. This is basically what I've been doing for the past 2 years. Just making my own data set so we can use it. And then, of course, we could still add to the data set, which will be the unique polls. But once we start rerunning polls, then it takes a weight off my shoulder. Quite a lot of weight off my shoulder. And we can start sending out those really hard-hitting polls again, because those ones are really good. The more people join. Aliens do exist. Yeah, I agree. Non-intelligent aliens. Well, I'd argue there probably are intelligent aliens out there, but it's much more likely that they aren't, I'd say. But I'm sure there's at least one out there, right? That's pretty smart. I mean, it's a freaking gigantic... If you think about how many stars we have, holy crap, dude. And then imagine how many galaxies we have. Ooh. Ooh, sheesh. Maybe not. Oh, I'm starting to realize something. Like anime. I'm pretty sure this is when I started doing custom emotes. Custom emotes will break. That's something we have to look out for. Any custom emotes will break when we try to send them if I happen to delete them. Or like change the name of it. So we're gonna have to like add a check for that. Or like have a fallback or something. Custom email. Okay. I need to write that down too. Let's write it down. So, custom emote options or reactions in rerun polls might break the poll if the emote was removed or renamed. Check for it. Yeah, so we want to actually also add a check just in case, because some of these are good, like Do You Like Anime? That one's completely fine. But it's got a custom emote in it, so if I were to remove that emote, which is actually in my private server because I didn't want to some servers, then it'll just break because you can't act with it. But Earth is lucky that there haven't been any asteroids. True. And now we're kind of smart enough that we could probably survive an asteroid as long as it's not too big. So we got that going for us. As for these polls, though, I'm gonna leave them in, but we're gonna have to check the results if there's any special ones like this. So if they ever do get renamed, we're gonna have to skip those as well, which kind of sucks because some of these are good, but I'd rather lose a good one than break the bot. So we're already 500. We only have like 60 more to go. Which of these best-selling games have you ever bought? 511. So that's kind of specific because there might be new best-selling games. Like, I don't know, Elden Ring might be one. I have no clue. I don't think so. Just in case something does come up, I will remove that out of here. So, quantity do you lead towards when someone says I have a couple of? Oh, this one was a big argument too. When I think a couple of things, I think like 3. But a lot of people said 2. And I was like, I mean, technically that should be what it is, but in my experience, it's always 3. Like a few things would be 2. And then a couple of things would be 3. I don't know why, because, you know, a couple literally is... the word is just 2 people. But used, I don't know. That one was a good one. I think people actually agreed that it was 2, not what I was thinking. Like, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more. Biggest result was 2. Second biggest was 3. Oh yeah, that was strange. That one was a really good one. I really like that one. So, which way do you face in the shower? Follow-up. What are all the different ways you say okay? Okay, yeah, so it might not end up being a follow-up, so we're gonna remove that one, just to be safe. You have middle name. You have air conditioning. I'm pretty sure we did this one, right? Air conditioning, that's a repeat. Does your house have an air conditioner? Okay, so 407 we want to remove then. Because we want to remove the first occurrence of it, because typically the next occurrence of it is formatted better. So I'm just going to remove that one. Just like that. Now where was it? Right here. Okay. So music playlists, color pink, famous, like Pokemon. I think Pokemon was also one. There was one that said, "Are you a Pokemon fan?" So let's remove that one. 230. Let's remove that one because we ask if you like Pokemon. That's effectively the same thing. So now we're kind of cross-referencing, but it's good that we do this before we start doing any other stuff. So I technically shouldn't have added that in the first place. I should have known that we did Pokemon Fan before. Would you rather have a haircut? How often do you get a haircut? That's literally when I got a haircut. So you can tell that was about 50 days ago that I got a haircut. Because I made that when I got a haircut. And we're on poll like 588 right now, so about 52 days ago I got a haircut. If you really wanted to know. That's pretty fun. Kind of cooking. Colors of shirt. Okay. Yeah. Intro. And this is pretty good. Like the format of TikToks and YouTube Shorts. That might become outdated, but I guess no, I'll remove it just in case, because that might become outdated. Like YouTube Shorts might not exist 500 days from now, so who knows. So, and again, it's not going to be exactly 500 days from now. If it starts from the top and I also keep adding unique polls as well to supplement it, it's going to be like 2.5 years until it gets resent. So yeah. So these are pretty new now. College University, ASMR. Best thing to go with strawberries. And this is the end of it. Used items. Is water wet? Okay, so now we're going back into rerun territory. Or actually, no. Well, yeah, is water wet? We don't want to rerun it already, so we take out the first occurrence of it. That's what we were doing. If you can move anywhere, where would you go? And do you own a Discord server? That one is also a rerun, I believe. Discord server. Pretty sure that's a rerun. Yeah, do you own your own Discord server? That's somewhere in here. 14. Did we already take that out? Yeah, we did. Okay, just making sure. Cool. So, from the looks of it, it looks like we have... Let's unplug my microphone. Hold on. I'm gonna readjust it. It's also really hot in my room. We got a heat advisory warning yet again. So, fuck. Cool, so we got all that. We don't have to print it again. We just need to see, like, how long is this? Console.log, non-usable positions. Sorry, non-reusable positions.length. 70. Oh, crap. I didn't notice there was that many in there. Okay. Yeah, so 70 of them are non-unique. So, out of the 587, we have 517 unique anytime reusable polls. So, what we then want to do is we want to take all the non-reusable positions and make a little flag in each of the polls to tell them that it's non-reusable. And I don't want to add it to every single poll because that'd be kind of wasted space. So I'm only going to add the flag to, you know, ones that need it. And then the other ones, it's not going to say like non-reusable, false. It's just going to not have it. So it'll still, you know, return the same thing. It'll just return null as opposed to false, which is effectively the same sort of thing. So, or position of non-reusable positions. And this is the data thing that we're going to be doing. We want to take polls position dot non-reusable equals true. Just like that. So for all of the polls that we've specified, we're never going to reuse them. So then once we actually code in the code to start selecting polls, it's going to check, is it non-reusable? And then are all the reactions still valid? If they are, we're all good. If they aren't, then we just skip that poll and we go to the next. So that should be pretty darn good. So what we want to do, because this isn't the actual data, of course, this is a copy of the data. And if you're a keen eye, you can actually see the current poll results right here. For do you own a Discord server? It's looking like a private one for most people. But of course, this is only 1,000 votes. We're probably gonna get about 1,000 more. But that's always cool to see. A little sneak peek there. But we need to actually edit it. So, or well, we already did edit it, but we need to get the actual data again. So we need to console.log polls.toJSON or toString maybe. I think toString because it is a JSON. The toString should print out this, which is copyable into our database. It is 200,000 characters though, so let's see. Okay, well, it did technically print it, it just printed the object. So what we need to do, we need to go to that's our code. I want to look up real quick because, you know, search bar always autocorrects things. It's gonna dox me one of these days. I just need to look up how to print JSON JavaScript, basically. I don't know. Oh, .stringify. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to check that. So it looks like it'll just be .stringify instead of toString. So let's try that. Stringify. Is it capital? No, of course not. Never capital. Alright. And then we run it. Stringify is not a function. Crap. They don't have that as a function, do they? Okay. Well, there's got to be a way. Let me again switch over to the code real quick. JSON, JavaScript, JSON object. Oh god, bright mode. Okay, let's see. So here's the JSON object. Grammar method dot stringify returns a JSON string corresponding to the value. That's what I did. Or, well, actually, wait, I think I passed in an array. Okay, so we actually need an array. It's not a JSON object. I think we have to like do .toJSON and then stringify. So let's try that out. Because we're just passing an array. That little bracket right there means array. To JSON and then stringify. Your JSON is not a function. All right, well, fuck me then. It is to JSON, so I guess we need to look up array. Fine. What methods do got? Have anything useful? Okay, all built-in array copy options create shallow copies. Instead want a deep copy, you can use json.stringify. Convert the array to a JSON string. And then .parse to convert it back into the new array. Strange. I wonder why, it might just be because it's JS Fiddle, but it's weird that it doesn't allow me to do that. Because I am just calling Stringify on it. And it is just polls. Console.log stringify. And that is the thing. JSON. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. You have to call as an object. Oh. My bad. My bad. Alright, we need to call the JSON object stringify. Doesn't work like that. Let's try this. It doesn't work. God damn it. Maybe not. Like, JSON.stringify, JSON is the actual object. And it comes with that method. Why is it must be so difficult? Because this is a little object, and this is an array. Look at that. They got an array passed in here. Why can't I pass an array? .stringify. Not spelled incorrectly. Oh, okay. Now it's sent. Okay, cool. So it sent it all, but it seems to convert all quotations into yuckiness. So we're gonna have to convert that back. I don't even know if well, actually, yeah, it should be able to. Maybe? It might be a console thing. I'm not actually sure if the console in JS Fiddle is able to print quotes, and that's why it does this. Because I think it might exclusively use quotes to specify it being a string rather than... Because it does have a quote rate, but it doesn't allow a second quote inside of it. For that reason. So even if I did replace it, I don't think it would work. So what I think we want to do... I think we want to copy paste it all. Oh, God. Alright, let's try to... How do I copy paste it all? Anyway, I could select an entire line without having to manually scroll the whole way. I'm gonna guess not. I'm just gonna select all 200,000 characters. This is a pro gamer move right here. There we go. Right, I'm not even at the end. Not even the end. What would you rather deal with in a video? There's still a little bit more over here. You're lying to me. There's a little bit more that's hidden off screen. God damn it. Okay. Well, what we can do is we can instead take this into Node.js and not have to deal with this bullcrap. So, I mean, might as well, right? We just need to open up an actual thing for it. Like, I don't know where to run it. Where should we run? Everyone vote. Yeah, let's do it in here. So, go to coding. And in coding, I will just make a new file called test.javascript, I guess. And then in here, paste the entire thing. Now this is a lot nicer to look at. I love this font as opposed to the other font. Then non-reusable, that's all of those, and then it console.logs it. So my console should support quotation. So if I copy directly from it, it should be good. But we technically probably don't even need to do that. We could just overwrite it with the data, but let's just see what works. So I will open up good old command prompt here. Let's see if it pops up. There it is. Cool. Okay, we got good old command prompt. It is rather large, but I guess we can leave that up there. So if we do node test, node test, I believe. There we go. Okay. So it sends the entire thing, ports emojis and everything. So if we look in here, is water wet, non-reusable, true. It's not capitalized though. Probably won't capitalize it because everything else is. But yeah, that's basically what we need. Because my console supports it, and that console is stinky and yucky. So let's rerun it again. So it fixes capitalization. And now if we check again, if I could find low gap. Now it's capital non-reusable. Cool. Well, I kind of like it non. I don't like the capitalization. I don't know why I added capitals to all the keys. We'll just keep it as is though. So now I could just copy paste this. Just like that. Copy. And then I could throw it into the database and it will be completely good. Except the fact that it's using outdated data, because the database actually updates quite often with votes from the bot. So this, of course, is outdated. This is from whenever I copied it, like, whatever, 2 hours ago or whatever. So we could copy paste it, but we do also have to keep track of what the results are right now. I'm not actually familiar what they are. So what I typically do, I think I could actually pull up. Oh, I'll just pull it up right now. So if I would log in here, I'm just gonna make sure nothing like bad is shown. I don't want things to be like shown. Okay. So I think if I go to desktop, we're back in desktop. So, yeah, it doesn't show the top. The desktop thing isn't really cropped very well, but it's cropped enough so it takes off the bottom part. But what you're looking at here is WinSCP. I am in the file system of my bot. Also the music, I never brought the music thing into here. Hold on. Let's do that. So it's not dead quiet. There's no music or alerts or chat in that scene. There we go. Okay. So now we have all that stuff in here. But this is the entire thing. So if I were to, or this is kind of what I do. So this is the bot. This is the DPS. I can right click and I can open it up. And it will open, download, and this is the current data. So this is the bot data, 587, last logged hour, blacklist, all that stuff. Pull queues, all that good stuff. I'm not really allowed to like show a bunch of stuff because privacy thing. I don't want to risk it. Plus, you know, be a good bot owner. I'm not gonna show a bunch of data, even if it is just a bunch of IDs, which it is. There's nothing really that bad in there. might as well keep it private. But this is what I do to overwrite it. So I would go into pull queues, and then I would select the Discord wide pull queue, and I would copy and paste it into the JSON, which is actively executed. So I'd kind of just have to hope I could do it quick enough from the point where I download it and then write the changes, which is what I'll probably end up doing. I can actually do that right now. I might as well do it right. So I'm going to switch off. I'm going to... It's kind of hard because I have to have two things copied at the same time. So I'm going to copy... Oh no, it opened again. I actually have it set to open the database thing automatically. Let me hide it real quick so I can look at the secret data. Yeah, so I have to copy paste the reaction stuff. Yeah, it doesn't look like many people reacted, if we're being honest. Only like 300 extra votes since I downloaded it, which is fair enough. I mean, within the first like couple of hours, there's only usually like 1,000 votes. And then, of course, there's 24 hours total, so people will vote over the course of that time. But I could copy-paste what I got in here, at least for the voter thing. The results, copy-paste that. I'm actually working kind of slow. Let me open it again. Kind of sucks that I have to do this off screen, but it's worth it. Just so we can start working on it too, because I could download the database and then we can start using it. So I'll copy paste it. I will open a freaking notepad so I can put it there. And then I will recopy this. And then I will paste it into here. Whilst I also double check that everything's not broken. Because this is the live bot, by the way. If I mess anything up, you'll see it live in here that I broke everything. But it looks basically the same. So I'm gonna hit apply. I'm going to write my changes. Apply? Oh. Am I even able to write the changes? Strange. Okay, so it's not giving me the option to write changes. So typically when I change something, I can click the button up here. When I press apply, I could write the changes. It goes directly into the program. For some reason, it's not doing that right now, though. So we might have to hold off on it. It's kind of strange, though. I have no clue why. I'm gonna try once more. I'll close it. I'll reopen the database. Browse data. I'll get the vote thing again. Yeah, so the bot gets a vote about every few seconds, it seems like. Or about every 10 seconds. Because within the time that I've been talking and copy-pasting it, there's already been another 4 votes. So I just need to copy-paste this again. Go back into the database. Paste it. Paste the results. Apply the results. And it still doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to do it later then. That sucks. I don't know why it isn't working. It is 200,000 characters. Like, come on. Come on. So, we have the data we need, though. I'll keep it saved here because, you know, I don't really need to recopy it. Actually, I might as well recopy it, huh? Or, wait a second. Oh, wait, I'm dumb. Hold on. I was copying this. I wasn't copying the actual command prompt that we have of the data. My bad. Okay, let me redo that. That's why it was nothing different. I couldn't actually apply it or write changes because everything was the same. Okay, let me write those goddamn changes. I'm gonna write it for the love of God. I have to reopen my session again, though. Okay. Reopen it. Pull queues. Go in here. Yeah, another, like, 4 people voted between the time that I said the last time. 4 people voted. So that's what always kind of sucks when the bot goes down, because it kind of misses a couple votes, because you can't really tell people that the bot's down because the bot's down, so... This sucks. But I will copy paste the command prompt version, which will actually be a lot better. Copy paste. Cool. Oh god, there's new lines in it. Uh-oh. That's bad. Okay, yeah, it looks like there's an issue with the version that I'm in. So, when I copy paste it from the commands, it actually takes this as a new line. Like, it's technically not a new line, but in the command prompt, it is a new line. So when I copy paste it, it goes down. It do go down. So I'm actually getting about like 130 new lines here, which will... I don't know if it will break JSON. I think it might. It probably will, because it, you know, it's a random new line character in the middle of a structure. So we actually need to format this better. Somehow not copy new lines into it. I could remove all new lines, but I don't know if there's actually... Yeah, I can't find anything else. Can't do like a Control F, I don't believe. That's what I'm doing here. Control F. New line. That doesn't work. Well, I'll figure that out later then, because that's a bit technical and I can't really show much of it on stream. But we do have the data worked out, and we do know for a fact we have 517 unique polls that we can reuse. So that's pretty cool. So now we need to figure out time loop. So instead of using a backup, automatically take an older poll. So how do we keep track of something? We're gonna need to use the database. So when we use the database, what we can do is we can add in the, not poll data, but the bot data right down here that we need to save. Now let me actually put it like kind of up here. The last logged hour, last rerun poll. And then we'll keep track of it as a int, just like the current poll. So it'll start at 0, and then whenever we use a rerun, it'll increment by 1. And then the next time we need a rerun, it'll check that and be like, okay, I won't use this poll, but I know where to start. So it'll just keep saving itself, is the hope. So last rerun poll will be there. So we just need to get rid of this. So if there is no poll... Also, the system's more complicated than I'm making it out to be. Right now, we're only doing it if there's no poll. What would be preferable is that I get it to work so specific days of the week is a rerun, and it tells me what the rerun is going to be, which is a lot more difficult than you would imagine, I guess, because I'd have to reprogram. I mean, I'm starting to get a little bit of an idea. So whenever I do a queue, queue, I'd have to make the get queue embed more advanced. Because right now it just, takes the polls in order. But it would also have to make sure, it'd have to check which day it will send, which day of the week that is, and then it'd have to grab what rerun would run at that point. And then I'd also have to add a function so that I could say like, oh, don't do that rerun. Let's skip that. Like, I also need to be able to overwrite it at points. Like, it's kind of difficult. Like, imagine I want to make a Christmas poll, but there's a rerun because it's a freaking Monday or whatever. Like, I need some way to overwrite it, which adds a lot of complexity. So it's not just displaying the poll queue, it's also being able to interact with the poll queue and make sure everything's whatever. But it, in the long run, will make work a lot simpler, because I won't have to have a poll every single day of my gosh darn life. Basically. But before we get into like get queue embed, because making the queue, I don't think it'll be too difficult. We just have to go through this, and we'd have to like keep 2 lists. We'll get there when we get there. I don't even know if we'll get there tonight. But let's code this in first. So a backup. So if there's ever no poll, let's use a rerun poll. So we already have bot data on deck. So we want to take the poll queue. Oh, it's also fair to note that some of them are labeled is backup. We also have to check for that, because free response questions were labeled as is backup. So we kind of have to do some data morphing here to fix everything. We just need to skip is backup as well. So essentially we'll probably have more like 515, because there's been like I think there was only one time where the free response was sent out. But if we did check the data that we actually have, you'll see in here is backup. 1 out of 1. One of these polls was a backup, and it's just a question, so we can't actually use that. And we can't delete it right now because the fact that free response is set to the number of polls right now. You can see it's poll number modulo free response. So if I were to remove one, it would resend the poll or the free response from yesterday, which would kind of suck. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I do want to make sure everything's running fine. So that's another thing to think about. So if there is no poll to send out and it's hour 0, so we need a poll, then we want to set the poll to be poll queue bot data. Well, we actually have to find which poll we want to use first before we actually even touch the bot data or like touch the poll queue. We need to find a suitable poll. So for let I equal, and we want it to equal the bot data dot last rerun poll. What'd I call it? Yeah, last rerun poll. Let me just double check I didn't type it incorrect. Okay, that's good. So we just want to make sure that for I is less than whatever. We also have to make another check. If it ever reaches the end and it doesn't have a pole, then it has to loop again. But if it does ever loop again, it'll actually be so close to the last ones that I'll start repeating poles like right next to each other. Because how it works is that if there's more rerun poles than there are unique poles, it'll start creeping up to the unique poles. So imagine we're on pole 500. If the reruns are reaching 490 and there's another rerun, it's 491, and that was only sent 9 days ago. So now the poles are really reused, and it's like, well, there's no point to reuse them, right? They're pointless. So I think we actually want a little buffer too. So instead of even getting close to that, I think what we want to do is we want to get pole q.length minus like 100. So there's always a 100-day buffer. Obviously this wouldn't work if there was if there wasn't more than 100 poles. This would break if you would just start the bot up with no poles. Is a fair thing to check. But we also need to check that. Let's actually see. So if pole q.length is less than, say, well, actually, okay, we could do it actually incrementally too. Like, or exponentially or whatever. Like, instead of having it be a set number of poles, like 100 days, we could have it be like 25% or something like that. Though that doesn't really make sense because time isn't really expanding whenever you do a pole. It's always the same. I don't think we have to worry about time vortexes in our bot. Though some people might, and to be honest, they probably would break everything, but whatever. But if pole length is less than 100, then set to pole q.length. Otherwise, we want it to be pole q dot length minus 100. Or more like less than 200. So, as long as there's 200 poles queued up, it will keep rerunning poles until it reaches like within 100-day mark. Then it'll be like, okay, let's kind of ease back a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning. Rerun it back. Though if there is just straight up less than 200 poles, let's just, go to the end of it. Because in our current bot, that will never be an issue, but if we were to run the development version of the bot, typically that bot has no poles. So it would break things. So we need to account for it. Especially if we make it open source too. If we ever to do that, we don't want things to just break if we don't have the data set, so that's why we got that. So, for last rerun poll, what we want to do... Also, we want last rerun poll to be a default 0. Let's do that real quick. I think index might actually set things. Yeah, current poll, last logged hour, proper shutdown. I want to set the last rerun poll to be 0. Because whenever starter data, this is again just for the development version, so whenever I start a development version, I could test things without it breaking horribly because it doesn't have a poll queue to run off of. So, gosh, I keep forgetting the name of it. Last rerun poll. last logged hour, so last rerun poll would equal 0 by default. And this wouldn't be set by the main bot. I'd have to manually set it, which isn't too big of a deal because it would only run at hour 0, so I can manually set that. And then any new poll or any new bots that would theoretically run this would be like, oh, we're all good. So we start at the last rerun poll and we want to check the next poll. So actually, we don't even need to check this one. We just do +1. Because we don't need to check the current poll. We just skip over that. So we check the next poll after the last rerun. So if, or let possible poll equal poll Q I. If possible poll is not... Okay, sorry. If possible poll is non-reusable. So if it's not non-reusable, so if it is reusable, it's a double negative, but if it is reusable, and the possible poll is not a backup, that's for the singular thing. I'll also take a note here. Don't need his backup once we remove that from game. Let's take a note of that because I'll forget about it. So if it's reusable and it's not a backup, then we want to check its reaction. So are the reactions still existent? Can the bot actually use them? So poll handler already does this. I guess technically poll result, get poll embed. One of these would it be? So one of these actually checks for if a custom emoji, create poll, I believe, checks if a custom emoji is good to go. Yeah, check if a valid Unicode or custom emote. So, check if it's valid. Otherwise, match any custom emotes, and then double check if the cache knows what that emote is. So we just need to take this. Just steal that code. And we need to do that for each reaction. So for let reaction of possible poll.reactions, we want to check if reaction... Actually, we're going to basically copy-paste the poll code. So if option.emoji.match. Okay. Copy-paste this. Because it's a bit complex. So if reaction.match. So what this is doing, it's checking if it's in the format of a poll. Or, I keep saying poll. Of emote. A custom emote. Because custom emotes are formatted as, an arrow and then it ends an arrow, or, that's for animated. This is for normal. So, if it does match a custom emote, then we want to check it. We want to check if we're actually able to grab it. We just want to switch all these out with. So, get the ID, which is what this is doing. License. And if it does find it, which means this will return something, then we're good to go. If it doesn't find it though, then we want to continue. We don't want to use the poll. So let's start labeling this. Check if reactions are or custom reactions are still valid. So that will take up the use case if a custom reaction no longer exists on the poll, then it just won't use it. It'll continue and it'll check the next. Otherwise, there isn't any other thing that needs to be checked. It should be good to use. So we would set it to poll queue dot I. And also we would change the result. So possible poll dot Reddit would actually be a plus equals R. So if you've noticed in the recent polls, some of them have a parentheses R to it. That's to specify that it's a rerun. So it's easily, identifiable. And then we also want to make sure that it's also labeled as such. So if we're using the poll, verbatim, we want to also label it as non-readable. And then we could set it as the new poll, possible poll. So that gets that, and that, sets its proper things. It checks all the things that it needs to. And then the only other thing we need to do to it is we need to set the database bot data to realize what it is. The last poll or whatever. Which I can actually do down here. So I will just do it up here. Because screw it. So await database update row. ID 1. And we want to set the last rerun poll to be I. If I could actually type it correctly. There we go. Last rerun poll. So, what we have here, theoretically, if the bot were to run out of things to send, it will now start sending polls that were already sent before instead of free response questions. If I were to, freaking get rid of that. Theoretically, we still have to test it, but theoretically, should work like that. So I will actually, I've been talking a lot. Typically when I talk a lot, like sometimes I just burp for some reason. I have so much air coming out of my mouth. I never usually talk this much either. Streaming's probably the most time I talk. Because you have to constantly be talking and hearing the stream. I'm carrying all y'all. But we can actually change this back. So if no poll is in queue, use rerun. So, if I were to save that, we should be good on that. It should send rerun poll. And double check that they're all usable and all that stuff. And if they aren't usable, it'll just skip it and it'll, go to the next. If it were to overflow, we actually want it to restart. So, starting point. Let's get a starting point, actually. The starting point will, by default, be the last rerun poll. But I hope it doesn't break it or anything, but I'm pretty sure starting point, if I set to that, +1. And then do this. I mean, I guess I could technically do it in here. Might as well. Hold on. Let's get rid of that, actually. So I think I might be able to set I within here to like go back to 0. So if we were to ever run out, aka, hit the end here, then it'd actually have to be like an extra. Here, it's a little complex because if it did hit the end, it would just exit and it wouldn't do anything, and then everything would break. So what we actually need to do is I think we want to keep it as pull q.length, but if if just I is less than, we're basically going to do the same calculation, but within it is what I'm doing. Except, it'll overwrite I to be 0. So it'll keep running. It won't just stop at whatever. But if pull q dot length is greater than 200, then we want it to do whatever. Otherwise, yeah, we want to do a different check. Yeah, it's a little complex. So if I is greater than pull q dot length minus like freaking, I don't know, 200, or let's say 6 months would be about, that's 30 times 6, so 180. So there will always be a 6-month buffer before it starts rerunning the reruns, right? Because if it ever reruns the reruns, then it'll just start from the back and it'll be like, okay. I mean, it hasn't been too long, but it will have to do that eventually. As long as we keep a good barrier, it should be fine, and it should be theoretically infinite. So if pull q.length is greater than 200, then if I is greater than pull q.length minus 180, or if it's less than 200, if I is greater than or equal to pull q.length, then we want to set I to equal 0. We're effectively overflowing it. Overflow if too close to recent pulls. Kind of like that. I am realizing something though. So because a lot of the more recent pulls, theoretically, if a lot of them were reruns, it would already be kind of copying. Because this is based on pull q.length. This isn't like a unique pull buffer, it's just a overall pull buffer. I mean, I think it's mostly fine, but I think you might get the point, because a lot of the 180 pull buffer, like let's say half of the pulls are reruns, then 90 of those are going to be reruns already. So effectively, it's more like a 90-day buffer. Kind of, I guess. I don't know. I might be overthinking it. I think it should be fine as is, but there might be some caveats in it. But if it gets too close to the recent pulls, it will overflow, and it'll send, "Is water wet again?" And it'll restart everything. It's also important to note that this is in the span of literal years. We have 500 unique pulls. That lasts for more than a year and a half. And the bot has grown by like a lot in a year and a half. Like, hopefully the bot continues exponential growth, so when we do rerun a poll, of course, the reruns will be, like, more and more. There'll be a bigger gap and everything. Though, it is minus 180, so it's technically 500 minus 180, so that's more like a year. But still. I could rerun that. I don't know, there's like a weird calculation. I could like min-max it and be like, okay, what's the best recent poll to reuse poll ratio and like whatever. But I keep overthinking things. I mean, it's good to overthink things because now it's in my thought process, and now I'm like, okay, I might look into that after stream and make sure it's not actually going to break anything. But it seems fine. Also, the tape on my freaking microphone keeps melting off. I taped the cord because there's no, like, cord thing for my microphone, so, like, the tape is just coming off. It's too hot. It melted, kind of. Or it was too hot. So it's not really holding the cord anymore. But I do have, like, a microphone arm, so I can actually have this microphone in front of my face. Just a really cheap one from Amazon. But yeah, that is rerun polls. Now, again, the rest that I need to do lies within poll itself. So the poll queue, I am going to have to... We'll actually label this for me later, too. I don't know if I'll stream coding it, because, again, tomorrow I start school and all my homework, and I got it, the homework due Wednesday and Thursday. I gotta check to make sure that's not too much homework. I got like 30 calculus problems, all that stuff. But, I'll see. I might do it on my own time, but we might as well, like, summarize what we need here before I forget it, right? So, when we add the following days, instead of doing a basic queue, we want to do set certain days of the week to have a rerun. Show the rerun on that day. And unique polls get queued around that. So if I were to make a unique poll, but there's a rerun tomorrow, it'll send the next day. And if there's a rerun that day, then it'll send the next day, right? So that's one thing we have to do. Another thing we have to do is we need to be able to overwrite polls. This is a really big update, by the way. Really big, like, server-side update. Like, it doesn't affect users all that much, but it really affects the frickin' bot code. So, for polling add, we need to get components. Where are the components added? Message.edit. Where do I add the components? Prompt. Oh, it's in prompt create poll. So I need to do add option to specify, or add a button to specify not to reuse the poll. So if I make a poll that's about a Halloween, I'll click yes non-reusable instead of yes reusable. So it will never be used in a rerun. And the cool thing about this is we are technically making a data set here too. Like, I can make it publicly available again on the website. That'd be really cool. Oh, if I get enough support, I will make a dynamic website so you could just look at all the polls and all the results and all that cool stuff. But that's another thing. We have to specify like if we want to reuse that poll, so I don't have to do it retroactively. Another thing is we need to have an option to overwrite a poll. I don't know if that'd be a separate command or something, but option to overwrite a rerun in case you want to send a poll a specific day. Something like that. To overwrite a rerun to send a poll a specific day, and we also want the option to skip a rerun and increment it so it doesn't send what it planned to. I get if you kind of get what I mean. Like if one of the reruns is kind of repetitive, and I might be like, okay, let's not send that again. Like maybe I sent a poll that's really similar to it, and I don't want that to send. I could skip that rerun. But there'll still be a rerun, but I'll just skip that rerun, right? So that's yet another thing. I think, is that it? We need to overwrite a rerun. We need to skip it. We need to add buttons for reusability. We need to set certain days to have the rerun. We also need time. What? We need time loop to do anything? I don't know if we need time loop to do anything. Also, I might want to check if R is already there and don't add another. That one's kind of simple, but I'll just have to slice it or splice it or whatever the hell. I don't want to figure that out right now. So I'm just going to put that there too. And then I could have sworn time loop needs to do something too, right? What does it need to do? If I got reruns going, then what would I don't know what time loop would need to do. For some reason I could have sworn I needed something in here for time loop, for everything to work correctly. But maybe not. So reruns will send when there's no poll, and there's also gonna send when oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so I need to tell time loop to also use the rerun. I knew there was freaking something I need time loop to do. So we can't just tell it that there's reruns. It actually has to set reruns, because right now it's just using reruns if there's no poll in the queue. We also need reruns if they're specified to run on that day. So use rerun if specified for that day. So we also have to set it if there is a, rerun scheduled. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different to-do things, and some of them are really big. Overriding a rerun and skipping a rerun to increment it. This one might not be too hard. Overriding a rerun? Ooh. It's gonna get a little complex. But we did the bulk of our stuff that we need to do. We got the data prepared for it, and we have time loop already in the know of how to send one. So if there ever is no poll, it will send a rerun. Again, I still have to test this and everything. I won't just push it out, because that would break everything. I'll be honest, I don't trust my code all that much. So I still have to test it, but I think for now that's gonna be what I do for tonight. That's 2 hours, 10 minutes of coding. I'm pooped. I need to something else. I need to do like, I don't know, something that's not coding or stressful. But I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, or morning. Sucati.dev/hub for Discord updates and this bot update. This bot update will take a good minute, but hopefully I should be able to get it out. And, the bot will become literally self-sufficient. Like, I could freaking stop adding polls to it, and it'll just work and work and work. But, it's a growing data set. The more polls I add, the better it'll be. And, yeah, hopefully freaking, I don't know, more people start using the bot. I mean, there's already a lot of people using the bot, but, like, I hope it continues to grow as it has been. Though, it could grow a little quicker. I don't know, nice, but beggars can't be choosers, right? But yeah, I appreciate you for stopping by. And yeah, I'm gonna not think about coding anymore because I don't know, I feel burnt out right now. It's a lot of stuff that I need to do. I'm remembering how much work it was to make this version 2. And it's like, oh man, there's so much stuff I need to do. But we'll get through it. I appreciate you for stopping by. I'll be getting off now.